What's going on, everybody? We're here, back with a brand new episode of Umineko When They Cry. Last time on, we had started up episode 2, but before we did that, we went to the Witch's Tea Party, in which we were introduced to Burn Castle. If this intro... I hate doing on the main menu. Anyway. We were introduced to Burn Castle, the part of Rika's consciousness that left her at the end of Higurashi. And she is observing these events unfold before her, so she isn't bored. And she pretty much instructed us to figure out Beatrice's grand manipulation or grand plan for the usual mirrors. We were then introduced to episode 2, in which we saw George and Shannon have a nice date, and we quickly find out that Beatrice had made a little deal with Shannon in order to have her have this forbidden love with George, in which she breaks the mirror at the shrine on Wakajima. And that somehow releases Beatrice from some sort of magical thing, whatever, witches, am I right? But some interesting things to note. One, in that Witch's Tea Party, Burn Castle said that she had defeated another witch called Ramda Delta, which in ancient Greek actually means, which one of you guys told me, actually means free for, and in Takano's name, Mio Takano is supposed to mean free for as a continuation of her grandfather's work, which is very, very interesting to know, which confirms that for me, Ramda Delta is supposed to be the kind of witch counterpart to Takano. It must be in this universe that at least women, because witches and all that, have this sort of counterpart to them, this sort of witch persona that allows them to overlook different timelines and all that, which is very interesting to note. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, someone asked 2 questions about my theory last time about Rudolph working with this Beatrice actress. One, what is Rudolph's motive? The closest motive I can get to right now is that Rudolph wants the gold, since in episode 1, Klaus showcased a golden bar to Natsuhi, in which that means something must exist. At least that golden bar must exist, and I guess some roundabout way Rudolph found out about it, and so he teamed up with this Beatrice actress that, from what we know from episode 2 at least, is that she's been living on the island for quite a bit. She knows the ins and outs of Wakajima. At least that's what I think. So they teamed up and pretty much kill everyone else. The second question is, who exactly is this Beatrice actress? And why does she only show up at the very end while everyone else only saw smoking mirrors? I think an explanation for that, I think the biggest instance of that would be Kanon, in the boiler room, in which she saw the portrait of Beatrice, as we saw in the whole kerfuffle. Did I say it? I've never attempted to say that word. Whatever. Whole scuffle, in which the portrait of Beatrice appeared for a split second, which I think is supposed to represent that Beatrice actress. I think it's really, the whole Beatrice portrait thing is supposed to, throw off the audience a little bit, make them a little confused, in which, in actuality, it's supposed to be this Beatrice actress, for some reason, that murdered Kanon. But I also heard that the beginning of episode 2, from you guys at least, is very badly paced to, some people. For right now, I've been kind of enjoying it. Yes, it's a bit slow paced, but, I'm used to Higurashi. I'm very much, used to slow paced things. So I haven't really noticed it at all. But you may be wondering, why am I on the main menu? Well, the reason for that is this. Let's go to episode 1. I forgot to execute Beatrice, in which I did for Burn Castle, but let's see what happens. Interesting. It is futile for a human like yourself to dream of killing me. Even if you fire bullets at me, they will merely bounce back as though by a mirror and strike you down. However, there is one single way to kill me. You grasp this method in the palm of your hand. I doubt a mediocre fool like you could ever do it, of course. Oh. Interesting. That's very... I really like the whole execute thing. Gives me more information. Oh yeah. In between videos, I thought of this. It's so interesting to me because we're trying to figure out, you know, these murders aren't supernatural. But in actual reality, we know there's supernatural shit going on in this universe. I mean, for instance, the whole bouncing bullets. Remember at the end of Higurashi? Remember at the very end of Higurashi with Takano shooting the bullet, and then Rika literally, without doing anything, you know, through some special means, she literally bounced the bullet back. So, it's very funny how we know there's supernatural shit going on in this universe. But we're trying to figure out that the murders themselves aren't committed by supernatural means. They're committed by someone else. What I believe, what I truly believe, I think is going to be the main thing, is that supernatural shit does exist in this universe. But, in order for Beatrice to act as a witch in order to gain her powers, is through belief. The same thing with Higurashi, with everyone believing in a miracle. Belief is the main source of magic in this universe, I believe. If you believe in it, it's able to happen, you know. So I think the whole thing of resurrecting Beatrice, even though she's, you know, clearly still alive, the whole thing about her being resurrected via the epitaph is that she needs these sacrifices to be conveyed in a way that seems like it's magical in order for the belief in her to be strengthened and more power comes to her. That's for what right now I believe in. Now oh wait, now that I'm thinking about it, she did appear to Shannon and Kanon, right? And she was able to do magical stuff in front of them, right? That's because Shannon and Kanon truly believe in Beatrice. I think Beatrice is only able to appear in front of people that believe in it. Same thing with the whole basement, too. Of, you know, Kanon went down there and saw Beatrice and was able to see the golden butterflies as well. And he was able to be killed by it. And the people that didn't believe in it was killed by someone else, like Rudolph. Honestly, I think I'm onto something here. Yeah, because... yeah, I think her magic... I've been saying this for a while, that her magic relies on belief. So she's only able to appear to those that truly believe in it? Well, she did appear to, at the very end, appear to battle her in the West at the very end of everything. But maybe by then, since she was at her full power, since all the sacrifices have been made to her, she was able to appear in someone that doesn't believe in her. I think I got it. Yeah, I could be wrong. Don't tell me I'm wrong, or just don't correct me or anything. But I feel like that's what I think what's the key to all of this is belief. That's the key to all of this. It's what fuels the miracles in Higurashi, and it's what fuels Beatrice in here. Yeah. God, I have to say, I love this story so much. I'm able to go on a fucking 8-minute rant about little information about that. I love it so much. Alright, let's go ahead and load back up. Let's actually get into the episode. What indeed?
別部屋ってなんだよ。じゃあわざわざシャノンとジョージ兄さんは別の部屋に泊まったのかよ。はい。そんなにもおかしかったでしょうか。
Jessica's cheeks had been stuffed with a chocolate-coated Chinosoku biscuit that Shannon had bought as a present from Okinawa. It all came flying out at Shannon when Jessica cried out.
シャノンさ、何のために沖縄まで旅行に行ったんだよ。それもジョージ兄さんと二人っきりで。それはとても大きな水族館が沖縄にあるからぜひ行こうって誘われて。私お魚とか好きですし。
Okay, so the Okinawa trip happened, okay.
いやだからさ、健全な男女がお泊まりありで旅行に行ったわけだろ。それでチューもなければギューもないのかよ。ましてや部屋は男女に別部屋ってなんだよ。チューについてはノーコメントです。でもギューはありましたよ。ジョージさんの胸温かかったです。そういうことじゃねえぜ。なあもう、なんだってこんなカップルがいるんだよ。
I don't know. Who knows?
ああもうじれってえぜ。
From Shannon's point of view, it was an incredibly happy trip for various reasons. But it looked like Jessica found their pace to be pretty irritating. Yeah, it's literally every like romance anime, at least from what I've heard. Like, just get together, goddammit! For over 25 episodes. For a while, Jessica chewed her present, complaining about romance and pretending to be faint in agony on her bed. Shannon and George had chosen to go to Okinawa because there was a huge aquarium there. They did this because an aquarium had given them the opportunity to start going out. Since their relationship had started at an aquarium, having their first overnight trip also be to an aquarium must have held some commemorative value.
そんな記念の節目の初のお泊まり旅行ならいろいろと進展するもんがあるはずだぜ。
Oh yeah, isn't like aquarium like a very big romance trope? Of like, oh, once they go to aquarium, they gotta have a kiss.
それが男女別部屋、カップルでシングルを2部屋。ああもう本当にどうかしてるぜ。それはお互い独身の男女ですし、ジョージさんがそこをしっかりするのが男女のマナーだとおっしゃって。だからそれを踏み越えるためのお泊まり旅行じゃねえのかよ。もはやキューとかギューとかのレベルじゃねえぜ。お嬢様がどういう意味でおっしゃってるのかわかりませんが、ジョージ様は最後まで本当に紳士でいてくださいました。それは私もそういうことがあるかなというか。でも私たちお付き合いはしてますけど、別に結婚してるわけじゃないし、お嬢様が期待されているようなことはちゃんと神様の前で誓いを立ててからするべきです。するべきです。
Shannon's face got bright red. She made a circle with both hands, restlessly intertwining, separating, making hard marks with them. Apparently, the dramatic progress Jessica had looked forward to has... Oh, damn it. Move my mouse wheel. Apparently, the dramatic progress Jessica had looked forward to hadn't happened, but it seemed to have been a very important experience for Shannon in her own way. In the end, whether Jessica was jealous of Shannon or made fun of her, it didn't change the fact that Shannon had a huge lead on her.
私も彼氏欲しい。シャノンに先を越されたのが悔しい。彼氏作るときは一緒だぜって約束したのに抜け駆けされた。お嬢様は素敵な方ですから、私なんかよりきっと素敵な方がすぐに現れます。そういう慰めはいらねえぜ。シャノンの裏切り者、出ていけ。うぜ
Jessica threw several cushions on her, but midway she had an asthma attack and started to choke pretty badly. Shannon hurriedly ran over to a nearby side table and started switching around on top of it. A cute basket was placed there, and inside of it was Jessica's is that what those things are called? Fucking medical words. Shannon picked it up and handed it over to Jessica. Jessica's asthma attacks always came suddenly. Because of that, she always needed to carry this medicine around. Jeez, what's with the women in this, little family? Fucking Nazi with her headaches, Jessica's asthma. Jeez. She breathed in the medicine, and after a while managed to overcome her choking as her asthma finally settled down. Shannon thought this was a good chance to leave and try to exit the room after bowing courteously. As she did, one more small cushion came flying and hit Shannon on the head. She noticed that Jessica was on the verge of crying, half of her bare face buried in her last and favorite cushion. That face was wet and meek.
お嬢様シャノンさ、正直に言って私髪型とかまさかお嬢様の髪はとてもお美しいと思います。じゃあ目とか変かな、鼻とか変じゃないかな、やっぱり喋り方がダメなのかな、だから彼氏できないのかな。
Trying to find reasons why you haven't found someone. It's one evil thing.
そんなはずはありませんよ。お嬢様はそのままで十分に素敵です。そしてその魅力はこれからもっともっと増していくと思いますよ。でも私だけ彼氏できない。サクもヒナも彼氏できたのに私にだけできないよ。やっぱり私には魅力ないからかな。
Ow, that's very relatable, jeez.
みんなね、文化祭に彼氏連れてくるんだって。私もその日までにはきっと彼氏いるって思って大見え切って彼氏だってできやしない。私だけ
Before she realized that Jessica was shedding huge tears. Jessica didn't really feel like crying, and of course she felt like supporting Shannon's progress and love as a friend. However, as she had cheered Shannon on, her true feelings had suddenly gotten mixed in. She couldn't help but shed tears. Shannon understood Jessica's innocence and easily injured heart. The rough style of speech Jessica usually used was all to an attempt to protect that fragile heart. As the daughter and successor to the usual Miura family, and as a girl isolated in Wokujima, the only person she could expose her true feelings to was Shannon. Shannon understood that, so she strongly regretted acting smug, even if it was only a little.
涙出ちゃうなんて私変だぜ。ごめん。お嬢様は素敵な方です。そんなお嬢様に素敵な男性が現れないわけがありません。シャノン、もう時間だろ。早く行かないとまたゲッチさんや母さんに怒られるぜ。
I don't actually at all read like romance things or watch romance things. Probably the reason why is because the unconscious feeling of I'll be very lonely if I do. I'll definitely feel very lonely. And unfortunately, I think Umineko turned out to be an aspect of it. It's going to be romance. I mean, come on, we've had tons of romantical things about it. How the momentalization of, witches, but also Kenzo and Beatrice's relationship, of how Kenzo always longs for her, and the many other couples in it as well. I have to say, an aspect of Umineko is romance, 100%.
私は全然平気だから早く行きなよ。
I'm only saying that as I'm reading episode 2, but I already feel like it.
悪いな、泣いちゃったりなんかしてさ。バカみてえだぜ、私。
Jessica faced away, acting as though she didn't really want to trouble Shannon, waving her hand as though chasing Shannon away. Shannon took that as a sign that Jessica didn't want to be bothered anymore, bowed her head, and left the room. When Shannon's footsteps disappeared into the distance, Jessica lay down on her bed, still hugging the cushion. Her expression was still a little meek, with tears in her eyes. But for the first time in a long time, she had a very, very quiet and honest conversation with her heart.
私も恋がしたい。
Ooh, God, that really stings. Fuck. For me particularly, but God, I don't. Oh, that stung my heart a little bit. Ugh. Maybe it's because I have those same feelings as well. Anyway, as Shannon happily watered the flower beds in the garden, she sensed someone's presence. She turned around, thinking that if one of the family had come to visit, she must greet them. But what she saw was that witch.
ベアトリーチェ様。
Oh, there she is again, fucking walking around the garden.
久しぶりよの。どうだ？その後、そなたの思い人との仲は順調か？
As Beatrice sat on the rose arch, she happily blew on her pipe. Sitting in a place like that would crush the roses. It might have been dangerous if the arch fell over, but this was a witch after all. Showing concern for her safety was probably a waste of time.
はい。おかげさまで順調です。
You know what Beatrice kind of reminds me of? The Cheshire cat from Alice in Wonderland. You know, that kind of fucking with your head type of thing. And plus the whole pipe smoking. The same thing with the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland.
当然よ。わらわの魔法はてきめんである。そなたにはまるで二人が出会うのはあらかじめ決められた運命であったかのように感じているかもしれぬ。だがそれは間違いよ。夢運命だなどと思うでないぞ。
それは分かってます。
The witch was calling attention to something. Two things, actually. First, that Shannon's relationship with George was a fate that'd be absolutely impossible under normal circumstances. Second, that the power of the witch was great enough to overturn that fact. Okay, so I think the order of events is the whole beginning section of episode 2, then the meeting with Beatrice, then sometime after that, the smashing of the mirror by Shannon, then the trip to the aquarium. I think that's the timeline of events. It makes most sense, at least. Shannon had just gotten wrapped up in those sweet days and had started believing the illusion that all fate revolved around her. But she remembered the witch's words. Originally, her relationship with George had been impossible. Now, it might be impossible in the future as well.
すまぬ。医者と同じよ。病に悩めばすがるくせに、治れば感謝も忘れる。
Okay, so yeah, she did do it, okay.
魔女が感謝された試しはないのでな。つい卑屈になってしまった。許すがいい。
感謝の気持ちを 忘れたことはありません。ベアトリーチェ様のお力で幸せな思いができていること、そしてそのお力がなければ私とジョージ様が寄り添う運命がなかったこと。
You know, I've been thinking about this in between videos. Maybe Beatrice is kind of the same thing as Hanyu, you know? It's been a while since I played Igarashi, but how was Hanyu able to get into reality? Was it... What exactly was it? Like, I don't think it was ever greatly described at all. But it's kind of... I feel like that's going to be the same thing with Beatrice. Of, you know, those who believe in it, you know, see them. With Hanyu, it was only Wika could see her, yeah. But maybe because Beatrice is kind of more powerful, she's able to... Yeah, the people... Yeah, as we saw with Maria, she said only those who have the, you know, sixth sense or whatever could only see her. Which, aka, believe in her. Which are able to see her. I think that's what's going on. Okay. Yeah, that makes the most sense.
決して忘れたことはありません。
すまぬ。いじめに来たわけではないのにな。口が悪いのはわらわが性分。
Yeah, no kidding.
許されよ。それより聞いたぞ。二人きりで旅行に行ったとな。さぞや楽しかったであろう。
はい。とても楽しかったです。
Shannon's face suddenly lit up. The witch laughed widely, as though amused by the speed of that transformation.
もはやそなたの思い人は一方的に思うだけの存在ではない。互いに思われる恋人同士よ。愛に満たされた二人にとって世界はただそれだけで成立する。素晴らしき理想の世界かな。魔女も夜行というもの。
Beatrice laughed pleasantly. That smile made her look as though she blessed the lovers' rendezvous from the bottom of her heart without a trace of malice. After that day, Beatrice had shown herself before Shannon every once in a while. Even now, Shannon thought of her as an unsettling being. However, she was also indebted to this person for the magic that led to her current relationship with George. So Shannon tried with all her might not to act surprised or scared.
そうだった。ベアトリーチェ様、旅行のお土産にお菓子を買ってきたんです。よかったらベアトリーチェ様もいかがでしょうか。
ほう、魔女に土産とな。
It seemed that even a witch who boasted of living for 1,000 years had imagined that she'd receive a souvenir from a sweet lover's trip. When she saw that surprised expression, Shannon thought of this witch as a friend for the first time.
ほう、ラードと小麦粉で作った東洋クッキーか。それを西洋風にチョコで包むとは、まさに和洋折衷、菓子のシルクロードよの。なんだ、何がおかしい？
いえ、失礼いたしました。
This witch, who surely had a terrifying power, was chomping down on sweets one after another, making it sound like a squirrel stuffing walnuts into its mouth. After a while, Shannon couldn't conceal her laughter.
しそうになったぞ。そなたには今度 ネロのドルチェビータでも振る舞おうぞ。バラは永遠の愛の象徴。今のそなたにはバラのドルチェこそがふさわしかろう。
The witch was in a great mood, fully enjoying Martin candy.
これ本当にありがとうございました。もう私には十分だと思いますのでお返しします。
The thing Shannon had softly set on the table was a gold-colored butterfly brooch.
返さずともよい。それに持ち続けていれば二人の仲はこれからも永劫に盤石であろうが。
出会いのきっかけは確かに魔法の力で与えてもらったかもしれません。でもその出会いを永遠のものにする努力は二人で協力し合って続けていくものだと思います。
うん。愛もバラと同じか。過ぎた世日は根を腐らせる。苦労せねば育めぬ花もあろう。ならば好きにするがよい。身につけず宝石箱の中にしまうもよかろう。それはそなたに送ったわらわの行為だ。それを返されてはわらわも愉快ではない。
It's interesting that Beatrice can interact with physical objects here, unlike Kanye. I'm trying to figure you out, you witch.
申し訳ございません。そういう意味で言ったわけじゃ。
気を害してなどおらぬ。そのブローチはすでにそなたのもの。わらわとの友情の証にせいぜい大事にしてくれれば少しは気も慰む。持ち続けそのご利益を得るもよし、宝石箱にしまい込むもよし、望むなら恋路に悩む別の者に譲ろうとそなたの勝手だ。ただ大事にしてくれればよい。さすがに粗末にされては心が痛むでな。
According to Beatrice, she had appeared several times in the past in response to a person's summons to give them some tool imbued with magical power. However, when most people used that power to resolve their worries, they quickly grew unsettled by it, forgot their former gratitude, and threw away the tools they had been given with disgust.
だからわらわの行為に素直に感謝された試しは多くない。いや、初めてか。
The witch laughed heartily, but it looked like a sad laugh in Shannon's eyes. Ooh, Kinzo. She herself had been like that in the past. No, maybe she was still like that now. Beatrice was definitely a witch, with a strange and terrifying power. Most people probably wouldn't want to stick around her if they could have, but surely even those who had relied on that strange power sometimes felt fear rather than gratitude as a result. It must have deeply hurt the witch to have that happen over and over. Since the time she had started thinking that way, Shannon had tried to stop being frightened of Beatrice. This was surely something that tormented the witch for over 1,000 years. Maybe she really liked those sweets. Beatrice, who normally spoke a abusive way, praised the black tea that Shannon served her and looked to be in remarkably high spirits. After doing that for a while, the witch and the servant grew animated in their discussion of the trip of George. The things Shannon actually knew about Beatrice were surprisingly few. First off, she was a ghost-like being who appeared in unexpected places at unexpected times. Ghost-like, okay. And it seemed that not everyone could perceive that she was there. Apparently, everyone has something called a wavelength, and the ability to perceive witches varies greatly among different people. Only Shannon and Kanon could interact with her enough to exchange words like this. There were a few people who could sense her presence, but most people couldn't even feel that much. Wait. Take it back to Higurashi now. Kechi and Shion heard when Hanyu was hitting the temple floor. Can only perceive them. Yeah, okay. Wait, okay, that matches up. The wavelengths. Okay. It's very interesting to come in from this game from, Higurashi. Because it really, I don't know, like, makes it a lot more sense, Like, even though this is pretty much a sequel. At the same time, it's a standalone thing. But it's very much in the sequel sense of, like, it still has the same rules and properties as Higurashi. The whole wavelength thing. Even though I don't think it was described as wavelengths. But we saw, different people sensing Hanyu's presence there. Okay. From what Beatrice said, Kraus and his wife in particular had zero magical talent. And no matter how much she followed them around, they would never notice her. Once earlier, when Shannon messed up and Natsuhi got really mad at her, Beatrice started playing around, hitting Natsuhi on the head with her pipe. I see. Natsuhi really doesn't notice a thing. But Shannon, watching that, had burst out laughing without thinking and gotten scolded even more.
なら、親方様だったらどうでしょうか。魔法の研究とかをなさっているそうですし、きっとベアトリーチェ様のお姿にも気づいてくださると思います。
金蔵も同じよ。あれにも気の毒なくらいに魔法の才能がない。
Really?
血だな。同情に値するほど才能がない。
The blood, huh? As soon as they started talking about Kinzo, it felt like the atmosphere around Beatrice changed. She had spoken about Klaus and the West's lack of magic talent as though she looked down on them, but she spoke of Kinzo in a different way, pitiful way. Anyone connected to the Ushiro Mira family would know about Kinzo's legend of the gold. According to that, Kinzo was given the gold after summoning the witch Beatrice. In other words, she must have had some kind of relationship with Kinzo.
だからあれは才能のひとかけらもないくせに至ったのだ。狂ったように独学を重ね、魔術師の域にまで達した。
それはとてもすごいことなんですね。
The witch, who usually looked down on people, was uncharacteristically offering her praise. While she lambasted him by saying he had no talent, she praised his efforts.
そして親方様は魔法の力でベアトリーチェ様を呼び出した。
まあ召喚に応えたのは気まぐれだ。魔法を否定して久しいこのご時世に才能のかけらもない者が必死にやっているのでな。少しからかってやろうと思ったのがわらわの運の尽きよ。
Her choice of words highlighted how much of a disaster this had been for her. Shannon hesitated over whether it would be safe to continue this discussion, but Beatrice continued on her own, ignoring Shannon.
一応書式もルールも揃っていた。いくつかの作法が混在していたが、まあその熱意に免じ、寛大に契約に応じてやったのだ。
So he was the one to have the contract. I mean, if you're going to make a deal with a, supernatural entity, you gotta have a legal team on it. That whole meme of, like, get my legal team for the genie's wish.
そしてわらわは山なす黄金を与えてやった。
そしてお館様はその黄金を使って事業を成功させ、今日の財をなすのですね。
うん。魔法の才能はからっきしだが、商才と莫才はあったようだな。いや、理不尽なる賭けに全て落とす勇気と狂気ゆえにか。狂気は時に魔力に通ずる。なるほど。その点から見れば、金蔵に魔法の才能が全くなかったとは言い切れんか。
Shannon felt like she was daydreaming. While everyone in the usual Mirror family knew the story of how Kinzo idolized black magic, summoned a witch, and received the gold, in actuality, it was all rambling that no one believed in. And now Shannon was having this story confirmed by the witch herself. She felt a little frustrated by this incredible secret that only she knew.
そして莫大な財産を得た金蔵は、人の世で手に入れることのできるすべての夢を叶えきった。そして最後に世界の真理を求めたのだ。
世界の真理？
What truth would that be?
世界を構成する一なる元素。人の世で得られるすべてを満たした金蔵は、人が求める最後の欲望としてそれを欲したのだ。
The single element. She seemed to remember the witch using that word before. When Beatrice saw Shannon trying to remember what that was, she laughed bitterly, waving her hand and saying there was no need to worry.
わらわも金蔵を少し見くびっていた。まさかあれほどの力を見せるとは思わなかったのでな。おかげでこのざまだ。茶飲み友達もなく、この島にもう何十年も縫い止められている。誰に話しかけようとも声は届かず、どこへ行くこともできない。なんとも退屈な数十年だったことよ。
As she laughed in self-derision, she tapped her teacup with her finger. It made the white sound of pottery. Shannon didn't know whether the word self-delusion was a really inaccurate expression to describe the look on the witch's face. Shannon didn't understand everything, but she could more or less figure out their situation. It was probably a topic that she couldn't press the witch on easily, unless the witch started talking about it herself. To sum up everything she had said until now. Okay, so basically, Kinzo found out the final element, which is love, and he found it within himself. The one true love he desired was Beatrice. And through that power, he managed to trap Beatrice on this island. Yet, he still screams for her, yearns for her, even though she's there. Kinzo so wants her. Fuck, that's tragic. Fuck. No, God, no, don't. It's only episode 2. Do not make me fucking feel bad about the main fucking villain. You're supposed to do this in episode 6. God damn it. Fuck. It's only episode 2, man. What the fuck? Holy shit. What the fuck, Umineko? Gee, fuck. Holy shit. Dude, everything. This game is, it's like bigger in every aspect to Higurashi. The pace, the cast, the amount of just pure content. And then we're already fucking humanizing the villain in episode 2? Still the questions arc. What the fuck? Shit. Okay. Beatrice, who had been summoned by Kinzo's magic, could not leave this island for some reason. And she had lost her power in her form, living her days in boredom. During that time, her words had reached Shannon, who never forgot to show sincere respect for the witch. And Shannon had helped the witch regain her power, if only a little bit. As a result, it was now possible for the witch to drink tea with Shannon like this, or breaking the mirror. Son of a bitch.
ベアトリーチェ様が私に割るように言ったあの鏡は一体何なのですか？
ああ、その話か。この辺りの島で大昔いろいろとあったらしくてな。そのせいで良くないものがたまり、悪い歪みを引き寄せていたのだ。それを旅の東洋魔術師か何かが鎮魂の社を建立して封じ込めたらしい。それ自体はわらわとはどうでもいいことなのだが、困ったことに魔力の基礎が違っててな。わらわの魔力にも強い干渉を及ぼしておって、非常に迷惑していたのだ。
そうだったんですか。私はてっきりベアトリーチェ様を封じていたものだとばかり。
わらわを対象にしたものではない。だが神格のある鏡だったからな。結果としてわらわの力を封じ込めていたわけだ。料理に例えるならこうか。わらわの注文した西洋料理が厨房でまさに料理されているとする。ところがいざ配膳しようとしたら、客席は日本風で懐石料理が並べられている場だった。だから厨房は場違いな皿を出せず、わらわのところへはいつまでたっても西洋料理が届かないといった感じよの。だからそなたに日本風の客席を打ち壊し、場を一度白紙に戻させたのだ。
A different type of magic, huh?
そのおかげでようやくわらわの注文した料理が届き、力が戻ったというところか。もっともようやく食前酒が届いたというところよ。メインディッシュにはまだまだ遠い。今のわらわなど靴屋の妖精にも劣る希薄な存在でな。何がおかしい？
魔女様の例えがあまりに面白かったもので、まさか魔法の話がお料理の話に例えられるとは思いませんでした。
我ながらうまい表現だったつもりだが、よもや笑われるとは思わなかったぞ。少し心外だ。
This fucking episode, you can't. What the fuck? A slightly sulky expression rose to the witch's face. Oh, come on, dude. It's the second What are you doing to me, Ryukyushi? What the fuck? It wasn't a strange expression at all to be appearing on the face of some friends as they enjoyed their tea.
こう見えても昔は残酷極まりないことで知られたわらわだったが、丸くなったものよ。人間とこうしてたあいない話で茶を交わせるようになるのだから。
She was probably talking to herself. As Beatrice gazed at the seabird tracing the horizon, she put her tea to her lips again.
雲が出てきたな。海も制裁をかけば灰色の水たまりに過ぎぬ。
そうでしょうか。曇っても海は美しくて真っ青だと思います。
Maybe the witch noticed the deep meaning behind Shannon's words. She wiped a white way and set down her empty teacup.
もはやそなたの両目に埋められているのは黒い石ころではないらしい。どうだ？家具から人間に生まれ変わった気持ちは理解できておるか？
はい。世界がこんなにも優しかったなんて知りませんでした。
Since the start of her relationship with George, Shannon's face had grown brighter more often. Her smile had made everything go smoothly and had even changed her fortune. Shannon made less mistakes in her work than she had before, and the family members' opinion of her was slowly starting to change. Just the other day, she had been surprised when Kraus, who would exchange words with her, had suddenly started talking to her.
最近いい笑顔をすることが多くなったじゃないか。何か良いことでもあったのかね。
いえ。でも楽しい毎日です。はい。
良いことじゃないか。同じコーヒーなら笑顔で継がれた方がうまいに決まっている。その笑顔でもう一杯頼めんかね。
That had become a chance for Shannon to gain confidence in herself. Of course, it didn't go beyond her own heart, and it wasn't so big as a change that anyone would notice. But she had begun to change bit by bit. Huh. Shannon understood it clearly. Knowing love was the same thing as gaining a soul. The same as being reborn from furniture into a human. There was absolutely nothing mistaken in Beatrice's words. By knowing love, Shannon had learned what it was to be human.
珍しい茶化をしそうになったな。有意義な時間であった。そろそろ仕事に戻らねばならぬ時間であろう。
Especially those strawberry shortcakes.
茶会はこれまでにしよう。そなたとわらわが茶を飲むことを好かん者もおるようでな。
Camera turns to Kanon in the corner. The witch gripped a teaspoon and flipped it with her fingers, sending it up into the air. After that, it was launched by the fingers of some invisible person and flew straight into a nearby bush. I fucking knew it. The bush... I mean, it's obvious. The bush shook violently and Kanon came out. It seemed he had been there for some time, watching their tea party. The spoon was gripped in his hand. If he hadn't caught it in an instant, it might have hit him hard in the forehead and caused him to start oozing blood.
安心せよ。茶会はこれで終わるぞ、カノン。
いつからそこにいたの？声をかけてくれればカノン君の紅茶も入れたのに。
女同士の語らいを邪魔したくなかったのであろう。
Kanon kept silent, but there seemed to be a slightly hostile look in his eyes. On the outside, he acted with respect, but unlike Shannon, Kanon did not trust the witch. Lightly so. When Beatrice hit the table with her pipe, the tea set turned into gold butterflies which flew upwards all at once. Then they scattered in every direction, and the cleanup was already done.
楽しかったぞ、シャノン。また縁があれば会おうぞ。まだまだ魔力が足りぬでな。姿を現すのも疲れる。
そんなに疲れるなら二度と現れるな。
Kanon had said it in a small voice, but the witch seemed to have heard it perfectly. She giggled, but did not reply.
シ シャノン、次の茶会ではジョージとの話をまた聞かせておくれ。人の恋路より甘い茶花は他にない。それではさらばだ。
There she goes. Beatrice's body also became gold butterflies, which scattered in all directions and disappeared. It was a fantastical and beautiful scene, like a blizzard of gold leaf. For a while, Shannon quickly watched the witch's exit. Kanon approached her from behind and spoke with an expression that was drastically different from hers.
姉さん、あいつと付き合っちゃダメだって言ったじゃないか。
ベアトリーチェ様はそんなに悪い人じゃない。確かにちょっと怪しいところはあるけれど、
僕たちにしか姿が見えない時点で十分にうさんくさいよ。あいつは人間じゃない。
This reminds me of a comment someone put last episode of how we saw Natsuhi from Shannon's point of perspective being very abusive to her, not physically but mentally, definitely. And the whole, flipping the chessboard around, as the game would like to pull it, of these different characters. And I'm very curious myself, as the comment mentioned, of what my perception of all these different characters is going to be at the end of all this, Like, same thing with Higurashi. Like, I didn't expect my perspective on all the characters to be so drastically different at the end of Higurashi. Who knew that Sadako would be my fucking favorite character in Higurashi, but lo and behold, at the end. So who knows? That's one of the fun things about large cast in any piece of media, really, is, how your perception of them changes over the course of that story. So I think it's one of the biggest benefits to a large cast of people or characters.
何を企んでるかわかるものか。
カノン君、それは少し失礼だと思うな。
There was a touch of sternness in Shannon's voice, which was unusual for her. To Kanon, who knew her well, she must have sounded extremely stern. Kanon, looking excessively surprised considering Shannon's tone, fell silent.
確かにベアトリーチェ様は人間とは違う。恐ろしい力を持っているし、恐れ敬わなければならない存在だと思う。でも人間とは違うからといってそれだけを理由に忌み嫌うのはとても失礼なことだと思うの。
I don't hate her because she isn't human. I hate her because she fucking killed everybody last time.
姉さんの言いたいことはわかるよ。姉さんはあいつにあのブローチをもらってから変わった。まるで魔女の虜だよ。ジョージ様との仲を取り持ってもらって頭が上がらないんだ。
そんなことを言わないで。
あいつは人間じゃない。何を考えてるかわからない。だから気を許しちゃダメなんだ。そして人間じゃないのは僕らも同じだよ。姉さん。
Don't. Kanon's words grew more serious. Though, don't say it, Kanon. Those words probably gouged at Shannon's heart. She bit her lower lip and hung her head.
僕らは家具だ。
Damn it, man.
たとえ名前をもらい、人として接してもらったとしても、僕たちの生まれが変わるわけじゃない。
You are no longer furniture. Those words Beatrice had given her, which had made her happiest, floated through Shannon's mind.
家具じゃないよ。
家具だよ。僕たちは人間未満の存在だよ。姉さんはそこを忘れたふりをして、人間のふりをしているだけ。自分でも分かっているはずだよ。
私家具じゃないもん。人間だもん。
いや、人間じゃない。僕らには愛する資格も愛される資格も初めからない。
Ken's criticism seemed to have shifted away from Shannon's meetings with the witch. Shannon picked up on that quickly.
お嬢様に聞いたよ。正直呆れたね。ジョージ様と一緒に旅行に行くなんて。家具の身の程を忘れてるよ。姉さんはあの魔女にそそのかされて自分が人間になれたと勘違いしてるだけなんだよ。
聞いてカノン君、確かに私たちは家具だよ。人間味を取った未満の存在。でもその満たない分をもし得られたなら、それは人間になれたということじゃないのかな。
そんなもの
あるの。それを得たなら私たちは家具なんかじゃない人間になれるよ。
バカバカしい。なれるものか。
Ken spat those words out, but did so weakly and turned away. He was probably giving up. After all the suffering he'd gone during those days he lived as furniture, his heart was firmly sealed.
なれるよ、カノン君も普通の人間に。
よしてよ、魔女の受け売りは。
ベアトリーチェ様に教えてもらったの。私たちは世界の一なる元素を得ることで人間になることができる。それを満たさないならそれは人間じゃない。だから人は一なる元素を得るために生涯を尽くし貫いていく。
姉さんが何を言っているのかわからないね。よまよい事なら聞きたくないよ。
ならカノン君にも分かるように教えてあげるね。ほら、姉さんの指の先を見て。
Shannon covertly pointed at the sea towards the horizon. Kanon didn't understand what she meant and couldn't do anything except look between the horizon and Shannon's expression, which seemed to be posing a little.
海。カノン君は海が何色に見える？
It was an extremely simple question. For a while, Ken tried to guess at the meaning behind it. But he couldn't think of anything, so he answered obediently.
パッとしない。ネズミ色だよ。それが何？
Objectively speaking, the sea laid out beneath a cloudy sky could probably be described best by Ken's words. But as Shannon closed her eyes and smiled, she shook her head slightly.
私には真っ青に見える。
そういう意味？緑色の信号を青っていうようなものでしょ。
違うの。海は真っ青。私には分かってカノン君には分からないなら、これがつまりそういうことなの。
Ken bit his lower lip and was silent for a while.
わからないよ。
カノン君、手を出して。
As Kanon was taken aback, unable to understand what she was saying, she took his arm and opened the palm of his hand. Shannon softly said something there, the brooch. It was a magic brooch, which she had received from Beatrice. A magic charm shaped like a gold butterfly, like a blue wove to fruition.
これはあいつの。
これは私の。だから私だと思って粗末にしないで。
After being spoken to like that, he couldn't just throw it away. Ken didn't know what he should do, and he stood there confused for a while, the brooch still on the palm of his hand. She didn't put the palm of her hand on top of Kanon's, and the brooch was warmed by both of their hands.
これは本当の魔法の力を持ったお守り。きっとカノン君に大切な気持ちを教えてくれると思うの。
あいつの魔法で教えられることなんて何もない。
あるの。だから身につけて。恥ずかしければ懐に忍ばせておくだけでもいいそうなの。
バカバカしい。あいつの魔法なんかに惑わされてたまるか。
Even as he said that, Ken couldn't be cold-hearted towards something Shen was urging him to take. In the end, Ken took and agreed reluctantly, saying he proved that he wouldn't surrender through Witch's power. Chen smiled and nodded back.
きっとカノン君は大切なことを学べるよ。きっと人間になれるから。そうすればきっとカノン君にもこの海が美しい青に見えるに違いない。
ネズミ色は何度見たってネズミ色さ。
違うよカノン君。そう見えるのは愛がないから。
Soul. Because of the howling wind, he hadn't been able to catch the main point of what she just said. So Shannon said it once more. The single element of the world. Love. She spoke once more of the world where it existed, where the sea was deep blue.
きっとカノン君にも真っ青な海が見えるよ。だって
Without love, it cannot be seen. Love. What a mysterious
そ
thing.
こにいるのは誰か。
カノンです、親方様。
It was rare for Kenzo to leave his study, leaving the fucking house. However, the fact that he had didn't mean his normal research had been suspended. He may have left the study because of a change in mood, but that didn't mean that the thoughts filling his head were any different from those he had while inside the study. Kanon knew that no matter what the time, speaking to Kenzo when he didn't want to be spoken to would always disturb his research.
天気が重いな。崩れるのか。
はい。天気予報ではいつ雨があってもおかしくないと。傘をお持ちいたしましょうか。
それには及ばん。しばらく私を放っておくがいい。息子たちに聞かれても所在は知らぬと言っておけ。私は自らの思考を巡る旅で忙しい。
かしこまりました。それでは失礼いたします。
Before Kanon finished bowing, Kenzo had already returned to his own world, having forgotten Kanon's presence completely. And once again he began rambling to himself. Amidst those words, the name of that witch popped up many times.
おお、ベアトリーチェ。お前の微笑みに手が届かぬ。どうすればよみがえるのか。どうすれば再び微笑んでくれるのか。何が足りぬ。研究か資料か触媒か。 それとも魔力か運気か神託か。ああ、ベアトリーチェ、どうすればお前の面影をもう一度見ることができるのだ。
A man who has all the money in the world, vying for the one thing that truly matters in the world. Vying for it, doing whatever he wants, doing whatever he can to gain it, but he can never have it. Now, what exactly is that thing that he's missing? What is it exactly? As Kanon listened to his master's weeping voice with his back turned, he turned around just once. When he did, right behind his isolated old master was the shadow of a person who shouldn't have been there. It was the witch. At once thinking that the witch must be plotting to do Kinzo some harm, Kanon dashed back to Kinzo and tried to form a shield with his body. But when he saw the expression on the witch's face, that emotion of his vanished. Because Beatrice's expression was sorrowful, or maybe pitying.
愚かな金蔵。わらわはここにいるというのに、見えぬのか。
Right behind Kinzo, as he repeated the witch's name over and over, desiring to be reunited with her more than anything else, was the witch herself. And yet Kinzo didn't notice anything. When Beatrice tried to rest her hand on his shoulder, he didn't notice.
なぜだ、なぜベアトリーチェの微笑みに手が届かぬのか。月齢か、水星の周期か、惑星の配列か。何が足りぬのだ、何が。
無駄よ、金蔵。愛がなければ見えない。
Kanon took the brooch he had received from Shannon out of his pocket. By learning something new, would he become able to glimpse something he couldn't see now?
愛がなければ見えない。
Whoa. He looked at Kinzo's back once more. The witch could no longer be seen there. Interesting. So the thing Kinzo is lacking is love. So the question is, what the hell? School culture festival? Where the fuck? Anyway, as I was saying, so the thing that Kinzo is lacking is love. Why is he truly desiring after Beatrice? Something so deep within himself that he can't even realize it himself. What is it exactly? If it's not love, then what? Interesting. Interesting. Okay. That's very interesting. What does he truly desire? The biggest fall event for the Ushiro Mira family was the family conference in October. But to Jessica, there was another major event that came before that, the school culture festival, as usual. Jessica liked school. To her, it was a place where she could let out the stress she built up from the rigid lifestyle she was forced to lead at home. For today's cultural festival, she formed a group of her friends and had announced that they performed some light music on a temporary stage. She had prepared and practiced for this over and over until today, always anxiously waiting this day's arrival. But there was one thing that worried her. She looked at the clock. There was still a little time, but she felt uneasy. Would that person really come? After taking a single deep breath, her heart jumped when all of her friends suddenly started speaking in shrill voices.
嘘、ひなの彼氏超イケてんじゃん。マジすごくない？マジすごくない？リンの彼氏すっごい頭良さそう。あれでド S メガネなの？マジ本当？
What the fuck is a Grass's beast?
ダメダメ、うちの旦那ギャル男だし。
Grass's beast. It may not be like this for all girls. But at least at Jessica's school, the cultural festival was basically a boyfriend exhibition. Jessica didn't have a boyfriend. She had many friends of the opposite sex, but no special, only one. But Jessica's a little famous around the school, and everyone thought it'd be natural for her to have a fitting partner. Furthermore, her pride had led her to pretend that this was true. She'd somehow managed to keep them fooled until this year. But for various reasons, she hadn't been able to escape this year's cultural festival.
ジェシー、彼氏来た？いや、まだ来てねえみてえだぜ。
Man, that's a very familiar outfit. Like, very familiar.
仕事忙しいのかな？
What's going on with the Sadako cosplay, Jessica? I mean, seriously.
ジェシーの彼氏、どんな人なの？せめてヒントだけでも出してよ。
He goes to another school.
何系？何系？すごいよね。社会人なんでしょ？スーツとかで来る？もちろんメガネかけてるよね。キャー！ねえ、でも本当はいないんだよね。今素直に白状したら私の仲間に入れてあげるって。一緒にこの文化祭を涙で濡らそうよ。いや、いる、本当にいるって。
Jessica's bitter smile was covered with cold sweat. It was starting to seem doubtful whether she really had deceived her sharp-witted friends.
Hi. なら彼氏さんの偽物を立てて連れて行くというのはどうでしょうか。偽物？誰を？そんなのに心当たりねえぜ。
Shannon's ridiculous plan surprised Jessica into hysterics. Even so, it's probably more realistic than the crazy methods running through her head about getting a boyfriend in the big rush before the cultural festival.
例えばですが、カノン君なんてどうでしょう。カノン君？ダメ。ていうか、きっとカノン君文化祭の日は仕事に決まってるぜ。迷惑かけちゃ悪いしさ。もちろん予定表も確認済みです。カノン君はその日お休みになっています。
Oh, now the roles have been reversed, huh? Who's the matchmaker now, huh?
こんな時ばっかり容量がいいのな。じゃなくて、休みならもっと悪いぜ。せっかくの休みを私の見栄のために引っ張り出せないよ。カノン君は引っ張り出されないといっつも閉じこもってばかりいますので、無理に引っ張り回すくらいでちょうどいいかと思いますよ。そうなの？ いや、でもカノン君に悪いなら晩作つきますね。おとなしく彼氏はいませんと白状なされてはいかがでしょうか。それは肩身の狭い思いをなされるでしょうが、卒業までの短くも長い間を耐え忍ばれるだけでございますし愛し合う恋人同士にとって独り者のひがみ顔が何にも勝る甘い蜜なのです。
Damn.
シャノン、私のために本気で悩んでないでしょ。おちょくってるでしょ。
It's always those damn... These fucking silly ass sound effects are always used in these games. Always get me. It's the most just like goofy MP3 like sound effects of all time. Jessica sort of bad with Shannon, her eyes teary. But Shannon was unfazed, laughing with her usual smile.
はい、私とジョージ様のことを茶化してばかりのお嬢様への仕返しです。
Listening to Shannon's comeback, the likes of which didn't happen even once a year, Jessica hugged her cushion and rolled around in her bed, pretending to faint in agony. She couldn't stand Shannon's smile, which looked so triumphant, but right now, she was the only person Jessica could talk with. She could choke her to death with her cushion later.
いいじゃないですか、お嬢様。文化祭ではありますが、カノン君と一緒に遊びに行くチャンスですよ。いや、それはそうだけど、いや。
Jessica buried her head in their favorite pillow to hide the fact that her face had grown blood red. And she grumpily chewed the fingernail on her thumb. It really was a reaction to be appreciated. Shannon and Jessica were about the same age, of the same sex, and friends. And they were both right in the middle of puberty. They could never talk enough about love. That's why they could talk freely about these topics to each other. So Jessica had heard a lot about how Shannon and George's love was progressing. Shannon had heard a lot about what type Jessica liked, what kind of man she might be interested in. Judging by Jessica's reaction, it'd probably be rude for us to go into precisely what these things were. However, this story won't get anywhere if we just have Jessica rolling around forever, so let's dive in. Jessica had been thinking about Kanon ever since he's shown up. It was extremely rare for young men to visit Wakanjima. So maybe it was a natural for Jessica, girl puberty, to develop an interest in Kanon. But if anyone said that, it would destroy the romantic ideals of a maiden's pure heart and love at first sight. Shannon had been with Kanon a long time after the orphanage, so she'd known him since before they started working. So Jessica had asked precisely about what his hobbies were, what his favorite food was, what type of girl he liked. Even to Shannon, it was clear that Jessica was infatuated with Kanon.
もうカノン君をデートに連れ出せるいい機会じゃありませんか。でもカノン君にだって好きな人とかいるかもしれないし、私なんかの見えっ張りに付き合わせたら気を悪くするぜ。お嬢様のような素直じゃない方を何でしたっけ、ジョージ様に習いました。そうツンドラとか言うそうですよ。あと十数年かすると流行るんだそうですよ。へえ、さすがジョージ兄さんだな。未来のトレンドがわかるのかよ。
Wait, let me actually check the glossary. Here we go. Good word. Tsundere. Tsundora is the word tundra converted into the Japanese sound system. It is used as a pun in reference to the term tsundere, which is a well-known character, personality trait in fictional Japanese works. Tsundere is composed of two words, Tsunsun and Dere Dere, meaning respectively of Wu for Koinki and Welshruck. It is used to describe characters that demonstrate an aggressive and awkward behavior. Tsunsun and then become all lovey-dovey Dere Dere under some circumstances. Yep.
すげえぜじゃなくてってことは私ってタイプは時代がずれてるってことじゃねえかよもうダメだ
It took several days of wasted efforts, but in the end, Jessica agreed to the plan of having Ken pretend to be her boyfriend.
はい、お嬢様。
I have to say, I could probably see why some people would probably be annoyed with it if they, especially if they started with Umineko instead of Higurashi. Of, you know, the first episode was boom, 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 murder, 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 murder. Then we get into the second episode, which is a lot more like Higurashi, you know. So I can understand some people's like first impressions of this to be, you know, negative. But hey, I'm loving it. You know, I really like this stuff because it deepens the characters. It really does. You know, adds more personality to them instead of just being, you know, meatbags to die. Like in slasher films.
お呼びでしょうか。
Jessica regretted calling out at such a bad time. Kanon always looked sullen, but he had some bad days and some better days. Unfortunately, this reaction was the former.
いやそのさ
All that confidence and effort she built up practicing in front of a mirror all night was wiped out in about 5 seconds. Jessica turned bright red and hung her head. When he saw that Ken sighed, Jessica thought that he was exasperated of her and her face went pale.
シャノンから聞いています。お嬢様の学校の文化祭へお供するようにというお話ですか。
シャノナイスじゃなくてそうなんだけどその当日の予定はどうかな。
シャノンから当日は特にお嬢様にお仕えするよう厳命されております。僕は高校には行ったことがないので分かりませんが、何でも男性の付き人がいないと大変肩身が狭い場だとか、後ろ宮本家令嬢が庶民に劣ることがあってはならないと特に厳命されておりますので。
シャノン後でぶっ殺す
Jessica kept yelling with a strange voice and a broken smile, like a tea kettle filled with boiling water. As Kanon watched this, he sighed again. Kanon wasn't an idiot either. He fully understood what Jessica intended by inviting him. But to be honest, playing along with Jessica's love game seemed like it'd be nothing more than annoyance to him. However, Shannon had asked him over and over. He was deeply indebted to her, so he couldn't refuse. And that brooch was in his pocket. Could this strange turn of events have been brought about by the magic power residing in this brooch? Ridiculous. But he remembered what Shannon had said to him that day. What did Shannon see that I cannot? I don't understand Shannon's feelings. We are furniture. As if we could ever become anything more. It was truly an odd exchange between Jessica, who was still rambling on in a strange voice, and Kanon, who sighed deeply.
Jessie, 人が来てるよ。聞こえてないの？ごめん。誰？
As my friends all gathered together, they woke in this way with hard to describe expressions, whispering to each other in small voices that weren't small anymore. My attempt to play dumb felt pretty transparent, even to me. Did I really just say sorry? Who is it? Like, I don't know who just showed up. It's useless, it's useless. My mind's going blank. What the edgiest possible fucking outfit. Gotta have a coat on all the way to your fucking neck. Also, we gotta. Here you go. A young sir. That's just. I'm sorry, that jacket is just the funniest shit to me. I'm also laughing about it because I used to wear a jacket all the fucking time at school for some reason. I guess it was a fashion statement, I don't know. I wouldn't even call it a jacket, it was more like a fucking coat. I just used to wear it all the time, especially during winter. But like, I don't know why. Yeah, as I said before, a fashion statement, I guess, I don't know. Like, it was fucking thick, too. Fucking gunshot.
昇降口がわからなかったもので遅くなって申し訳ございません。いや、
その格好も似合ってるぜ。
シャノンが普段着では良くないと言って先日一緒に買い物を。似合いませんでしたでしょうか。
そんなことないよ。
Fits you like a glove.
シャノン、後で2階級特進。
なんだかここは女の人ばかりで居心地が悪いです。
だよな。さ、ここじゃなくてステージの方に行こうぜ。もうすぐ私たちの出番だからさ。さ。
Jessica seemed just as uncomfortable. It looked like being bathed in everyone's interested gazes was hard on her. When he saw Jessica's appearance, Ken thought he might have made things difficult for her by coming.
なんだか迷惑をおかけしているような気がします。お邪魔だったでしょうか。
そんなことないって。
僕がお邪魔でしたらいつでも言ってくだされば。僕はどうしていればいいでしょうか。
お嬢で呼ばせてるの？羊系来たこれ。ラーメン。今日はお嬢様はラーメン。
そうですか。
Thank God it's the 80s and not in America, because oh my God, if it was today.
わかりました、ジェシカ様。
ごめん、カノン君。3秒でいいから目つぶっててくれるかな。キス
ではつまります。
Bang, bang, bam. Fun dub, baby. By the time Kanon opened his eyes, a horrible tragedy occurred in the room. Everyone had been driven into the walls, their arms and legs outstretched. Jessica had swept her brass knuckles back into her pocket, her Kanon's eyes opened. That's such a funny detail. Oh god.
私たちの出番はもうすぐだからしばらく席で待っててよ。私たちは準備あるからさ。
God, I have to say, the When They Cry series has such a unique tone to it, you know? I don't know how to describe it. It's a mix of, you know, seriousness and just like slice of life anime bullshit. It's like that. And it really comes together really fucking well. Like somehow, you know?
この先突き当たりまで行けば仮設舞台があるからわかるぜ。そこで待ってて。
But kind of like Yakuza in a way, yeah, with its whole seriousness and very cheesy main stories, but still has a heart of gold at the edge of it while being absolutely filled with wacky shit. You know, it's kind of like that tone. It's such a unique tone. I love it. She pushed Ken's back as he seemed to be having trouble moving himself and chased him out. Even though Ken was confused by Jessica's attitude and her panicky state, which he'd never seen before, he followed her instructions and headed in the direction she had indicated. After seeing him off with an awkward smile, Jessica slammed the door shut and yelled loudly.
ささ、見たね。見たでしょ？満足した？ざまねぜ。賭けに負けた。絶対ジェシに彼氏なんかいないと思ってたのに。彼氏じゃないんでしょ？使用人へのパワハラでしょ？ジェシの彼氏素敵だお。いやかわしいぜ。ほらほら、準備準備。
When Jessica took the brass knuckles out of her pocket again, everyone energetically returned to their tasks. The old brass knuckles, baby. Yeah. Kanon went down the corridor Jessica had shown him and ran into a temporary stage setup where the vending machine should have been. It was probably being rented by the hour by some group or club. The ones singing were student groups, but the crowd was still incredibly excited. Disliking that clatter, he leaned against a wall in the darkness by himself. Of course, gotta be the most edgiest son of a bitch in the entire room. gotta lean against the wall in the darkness. Oh, I'm so edgy. So alone. So this is what they call high school. I would have done the same thing when I went to a festival. Anyway, it sure is noisy. That's when Ken fought. Then I remembered Jessica just now, acting in a way that he'd never seen before. Honestly, she was in such high spirits that alcohol might have been involved. To him, remaining composed and intellectual at all times was the highest virtue. In that sense, it was very hard for Ken to get used to the atmosphere of a school cultural festival. He had a responsibility to report everything he saw and heard to the master. See, he had also had to report about how Jessica had acted without restraint earlier. At the very least, it was not fitting for the daughter of the usual mirror-head family. The master, Cross-sama, and especially Natsuhi-sama, will probably be angry. If I am to report it in a way that protects my lady, should I blame it on inappropriate school friends? Kanon fought back on how Jessica had acted earlier inside again. He could understand Natsuhi's headache a little now. Come to think of it, Natsuhi-sama, as the president of the PTA, was supposed to go to an informal gathering after attending a ceremony in the gymnasium. She said she would be able to see Milwady's performance, didn't she? And it's probably for the best.
人混みは気持ち悪いな。なんだってんだ一体。
Several female students kept glancing at me. It seems they were all whispering the same things my lady school friends had said, and truly unpleasant. Come to think of it, didn't Shannon warn me? If you walk around at something like a school festival, you better watch out because lots of strange people will come and talk to you.
お一人ですか？
Just as expected, a group of girls I'd never met started talking to me. Their stares started to make my back tingle. Didn't she tell me some magic words I could chase them off in times like this? I have a girlfriend.
すみません。連れがいますので。
That too.
そうですか。ごめんなさい。
Oh, it worked. Instant reaction. Now that got with them, but it really hasn't changed the number of people staring at me.
違うよ、あの子だよ、ジェシーの彼氏。嘘？あの子が？信じらんないよね。絶対にエアだと思ってたよ。可愛いじゃん。年下？いいなぁ。
There's no way I'll ever come to a place like this again. Get inside for about the zillionth time that day. Always fucking sighing. When he did, the lighting changed and the standing in the audience started cheering. He looked around and realized that there was suddenly a large group of people there. And unlike earlier, they were mostly guys. A couple dudes. With this huge crowd, he couldn't even see the stage. Fortunately, there was a fallen beer case nearby, so he tried using that as a footstool. Damn, a beer case? When he did, he realized that there was now a new group on the stage. Oh, wow. There's my lady. She's changed into stage clothes, and she's even holding a guitar. It's one hell of an outfit. I didn't even know she could play. Then again, maybe she can play. I've seen her practicing air guitar before. Natsuhi-sama wouldn't approve of any hobbies outside of study. Maybe she was always practicing in secret. Come to think of it, she's been returning really late from school recently, hasn't she? Maybe she's been practicing at school, far away from Natsuhi-sama's prying eyes. It really is for the best if Natsuhi-sama didn't come. If Milady were to get scolded by Natsuhi-sama after putting so many hours in practicing, she'd probably be dejected. Jesus fuck. I could hear Jessica-sama's forceful voice through the speakers. Jessie-sama. Maybe that's her nickname at school. The students in the audience kept calling out that name. I'm a little offended by that crude name. It's inappropriate for Milady. Jessica-sama was in high spirits as they kept shouting Jessie-sama. Everyone here was probably a fan. Her mic performance picked up on that and electrified them even more. It was almost like a music program on TV. At first, he thought this was all silly, but I feel like it changed into appreciation. It was incredible in its own way. Kanon never listened to music of his own free will, but he often heard the kind of music the usual Mira family liked, Mozart, classical music, you know. So it was all almost classical, yeah. Kanon had naturally taken a liking to that kind of music. Well, sometimes in Cross's bedroom, we would listen to AC/DC. I don't know, I feel like Cross would be the type of guy to listen to AC/DC. So to Kanon, the song Jessica sang was, how should you say it, extremely colorful. In any case, if Natsuhi-sama heard it, she'd probably faint. Oh my god, Susu Sweet! Oh, you gotta be shitting me. But everyone looked like they were having a really good time. Some die-hard fans who had even bought pen whites sang along and danced crazily with the same movements, almost as though it had been planned ahead. On the stage, Jessica Sama also sang enthusiastically, dripping with sweat. He couldn't find a single element that was appropriate for a daughter of the usual Mira family, but it looked like so much fun. Wait, huh? Wait, huh? Okay, whiplash, what the fuck? I must not go along with it, but... God, this fucking game is just slapping me with fucking, references to Igarashi, and every time it gets me. Every single fucking time. What the fuck? It just slaps me in the face. What the fuck? I must not go along with it, but... Anyway, my lady is full of life and looks like she's having a great time. As I watched my lady enjoying herself, I thought... Could this be Ushuoma, Mira, Jessica's true nature? Don't I know better than anyone that during her life of Wokojima, she's had no choice but to kill her sense of self. So the time she spends, not as my lady, successor to the Ushuoma Mira family, but as a single girl called Jessica, living life to the fullest, must be very important to her. I've worked close to Muwadi, seen her in all seasons, and thought I knew everything about her. But that was all limited to one side of her, the Muwadi of Okajima. We are furniture. We surf on Wokonjima and end our lives on Wokonjima. So I've come to think of Wokonjima itself as a whole world, as though like in Platonic theory. The ocean spilled off the end of the world into an abyss. But when I look at Milady like this, I can see how horribly narrow that outlook is. I still can't go along with the excitement of the crowd, but I feel like I can see something that cannot be seen in Wokonjima. I'm not sure if this is the unseeable thing Shannon was talking about, but the ocean still doesn't look blue to me. Oh, what it means to live as a person. Yeah, what was that whole thing about Ujiro-sama and the footsteps? What the fuck was that all about? Is that just part of the lyrics? I'm still curious about that. Wait. I'm thinking back to Igarashi now. Was it? Yeah, Ushiro-sama became a huge thing after the disaster, right? Shit. Okay, I'm gonna put that can of worms in like the corner for right now because that's gonna be like, what timeline is this in? Oh God.
校長先生はお元気でおられたかね。
ええ、お元気なようでした。そうそう、高宮議員もおいでになっておりました。あなたによろしくと特に言っておりましたよ。
相変わらずご多忙そうかね。
そのようでした。あの方も精力的な方です。そうそう、あと榎本会長もおいででしたっけ。
Naturally, the topic of Jessica's cultural festival came up at dinner. School events often became social gatherings for local volunteers. It was the same for the usual Mira family, who were celebrities around here. Natsuhi remembered the name of one VP after another at that social gathering, telling Kraus the news about them. Jessica didn't really have any interest in that discussion and moodily slurped her pumpkin soup.
お嬢様、あまりお行儀がよろしくないかと。
へいへい、そりゃ悪かったぜ。
ジェシカ、そういう言葉遣いは改めるよういつも言っていますよ。
はい。
Jessica answered, discouraged. When he saw that, Kraus smiled a little and paused his conversation with Natsuhi.
ジェシカの方はどうだったかね、文化祭は。
ああ、まあ。
見ていましたよ。よく頑張っていましたね。
Jessica's face turned bright red. She probably hadn't imagined that Natsuhi would actually come to see her on stage. She felt a mix of happiness and embarrassment. Actually, she really wanted her mother to watch, and she didn't want to be told that her music was inappropriate for the usual Mira family. But it certainly didn't make her unhappy to hear her parents say she'd done a good job after watching her try her best.
ジェシカもなかなか落ち着きと貫禄が出てきましたね。生徒代表にふさわしい振る舞いでしたよ。
Kanon covering for her, but at the same time, it's smothering her. Fuck. God. The smile that had been there until a second ago crumbled like sand. Jessica immediately realized that her mom was talking about something different. Jessica was also the school's student president. She had no interest in doing something so annoying, but her parents had been pushy, so she grudgingly accepted. Unfortunately, she was popular at school, so she won the election easily. So Natsuhi was praising her for the student council sponsorship ceremony at the beginning of the culture festival. Actually, she had just carried that out half-heartedly. After that, she immediately met up with her friends and held a stage rehearsal for the rest of the time.
人の上に立ち責任を背負うという経験は必ず将来役に立つ。後ろ宮家の人間としてきっとジェシカを成熟させてくれるだろう。
ただ挨拶が少し早口でした。内容は及第点でしたが、早い口調はそれを薄れさせます。一呼吸置く癖をつけるといいでしょう。
After she finished eating, Jessica didn't feel like going straight to her room. Her room was basically the place her parents had ordered her to be. So perhaps Jessica, instead of returning to her own room, being in an unknown location in this large mansion was a meager form of resistance. Jessica felt that even being in the mansion made it hard to believe, so she went outside to the rose garden.
まあ、来たところでどうせ後ろ宮家の跡継ぎとしてふさわしくないとかなんとか言うんだろうぜ。
It's very something about how these different people we've seen throughout episode 2 are kind of trapped, like quote-unquote trapped on Wokenjima. Beatrice in a physical sense. Kanon and Shannon also being trapped on it. One able to see the deep blue of the ocean, while the other is only able to see but a gray mass of it. And Jessica also trapped on it, being forced, being suffocated by the weight of responsibility of being an heir to a noble house. It ties all nicely together, this theme of being trapped.
なら
Jessica laughed at what she was sulking over. She laughed at what kind of words she could possibly have been expecting. That was dumb of me. In the end, I was just acting like an entitled brat. I'm a little exasperated with myself. It makes me want to laugh.
お嬢様。
カノン君か。驚かすなよ。
Joy, ghost. Just as she was about to force a laugh, Kanon suddenly started talking to her and she choked.
何？なんかよ。
その。
Jessica's expression became the one she always wore when looking at Kanon. The listless Jessica from a second ago was gone. If he had still only known Jessica as the eventual successor to Yoshiwo Mira family, as he had until yesterday, he might have mistakenly thought that Jessica's mood had sprung back to normal. But that wasn't right. He now knew a part of her that he couldn't have seen until yesterday, so he understood that there was no way Jessica actually felt the way she appeared.
今日は文化祭いや私の見栄に付き合ってくれてありがとうな。助かったぜ。
お歌お上手でした。
え？そうかよ。照れるぜ。
Even though she had heard the words she most wanted to hear, Jessica acted shy where he couldn't accept them openly.
僕には歌は歌えません。楽器も小学校で習ったハーモニカとリコーダー笛しか知りません。だからお嬢様も同じだろうと決めつけていました。
At the time, Kanon had never felt as though he'd been looking down on Jessica in this way. But all the people he'd seen playing special instruments were on the other side of the blonde tubes in the TV. At the very least, he'd been under the impression that it'd be impossible for Jessica.
僕は家具だから歌を歌う必要も楽器を扱う必要もないと信じてきました。
But I'm not sure anymore.
カノン君、その家具だからって口癖本当によそうぜ。使用人の心得ってやつだろ。使用人は生きた家具であれってやつ。源氏さんがよく口にしてるもんな。
心得というわけでは本当に家具ですし。
福音の家の子たちがいろいろじい様から援助をもらってるってのは知ってるし、それに恩義を感じてるのも知ってるよ。でもだからって家具なんて言い方はあんまりだぜ。私たちは同じ人間じゃないかよ。カノン君は私が歌ってるのを見てどう思った？
とても楽しそうに見えました。
それは多分違うぜ。
え？
楽しそうに見えたんじゃなくて羨ましかったんじゃない？
そんなことは。
Kanon probably hadn't noticed that emotion himself. Most likely, Kanon saw something he'd never seen before, learned about it for the first time, and felt envious. And to trick himself out of that emotion, he called himself furniture over and over.
私は後ろ宮家の跡継ぎだかなんだかだそうで、まあそのいろいろな面倒がこれからもあると思う。それについては運のない星の下に生まれちまったと諦めるしかないさ。多分カノン君が福音の家で生活しなければならなかったのと同じに、私たち自身にはどうしようもない。 生まれる星は選べなかった。
そうかもしれません。
ただ私とカノン君では大きく違うところが一点ある。わかる？
I'm furniture, and the weight is not. He was about to say that, but stopped.
わかりません。
カノン君は自らの運命が自分の全てだと思って諦めた。私はこんな運命じゃ納得できないから自分の思い切りを頑張ろうと思った。だから後ろ宮家のお嬢様をやらなければならない窮屈な自分と自分の好きなことに精一杯な自分というもう一人を作った。
もう一人の自分。
カノン君は自分のことを家具だからと言い聞かせてきた。そう言い聞かせなきゃならない辛いことがきっとたくさんあったんだと思う。それについては本当に気の毒だと思う。でもそれだけでカノン君の人生を全て決めちゃうなんて私はそんなの悲しいと思うんだよ。人はさ、自分の中に自分が本当に好きになれるもう一人の自分をいつでも作り出すことができるんだよ。現実逃避とかとは違うぜ。そのもう一人の自分でいるとき、私は最高に生きているって実感できる。
We're always creating different personas for ourselves in order to live out our fantasies.
だから普段の日常がどんなに窮屈で退屈でも私はきっと窒息せずに生きていけるってわけ。
Technically, what I'm doing right now is a sort of persona.
自分の中に自分が本当に好きになれる自分を作る。
To make another me, one that isn't furniture. Through our relationship with George Sama, has Shannon given birth to another self that isn't furniture? And did this other Shannon see something that cannot be seen by furniture?
私さ、カノン君のプライベートって全然知らないぜ。でもなんだか想像できる。カノン君のプライベートには多分何もない。図星でしょ？
Kanon couldn't reply, but that was answer enough. He had no concept of a private life. So Kanon would always be Kanon. So furniture would always be furniture.
カノン君のカノンってさ、本名じゃないんでしょ？
God damn it. In the Fukun house, Fukuin house, new graduates would be given new families and a new wife, so they were also given a new name. In this case, that was Kanon.
確かに僕のこの名は仮のものかもしれません。
Before he had thought of himself as Kanon, and no one else. But he remembered. There definitely had been another self that wasn't Kanon. But that was far, far away, beyond the distant fog of oblivion.
なら、カノン君にもカノン君である時とそうでない時で違う自分がいてもいいはず。使用人である時のカノン君は自らを家具と呼び厳しく自己を戒めてるかもしれない。でもカノン君じゃない時の君はもっともっと自由に生きていいと思うんだ。
Those words definitely weren't just lip service. Jessica had also been like this in the past. She had cursed her own birth into an environment different from all of her friends at school. Only she had been in a heavily constricted environment, forced to learn all sorts of things. And she had even been told whom she was and wasn't allowed to play with. It may have been sad, but she'd given up, resigning herself to the fact that she'd been born under that kind of star. But one day Jessica stopped giving up and surrendering. Stuff like Ushiro, Mira, family customs, and pressure didn't matter. She created a real Jessica inside herself, one who could do what she really wanted to do.
私さ、学校ではジェシってあだ名で呼ばれてる。だからさ、ジェシであるときは自分に思いっきり素直に生きてる。だからこそジェシカであるときも頑張れるんだ。カノン君にもカノンであるときとカノンじゃなくてその本名であるときで違う生き方をしてもいいんじゃないかな。カノンじゃないとき、自分を好きになれる自分になってみてもいいんじゃないかな。
僕がカノンじゃないとき。
He'd once thought of his real name as being completely meaningless. Because of that, he thought that Kanon summed up everything about him. Now Jessica was telling him to create something new, another self that wasn't Kanon.
カノン君、嫌じゃなきゃ教えてよ。本当の名前なんていうの？
He was silent for quite some time. Maybe Ken's real name had risen to the top of his tongue. After hesitating for a long time whether he should say it, in the end, he swallowed it back down.
忘れました。
Damn.
僕の名前などもうどうでもいいことです。
Those words contained a faint rejection.
僕が本当は何という名前であったとしても、今ここにカノンとしてあることだけが現実です。過去など何の関係もない。作られた家具の材料が元は何という木の幹であったかなんてどうでもいいことと同じです。
だからよせって。家具じゃないんだぞ。君は人間だぜ。
僕は人間じゃない。
Kanon clearly voiced his refusal. It was with a rage that he normally didn't show. Jessica couldn't say anything back and was struck silent.
お嬢様は人間です。だからどんな生き方をしようとも自由で、どんな未来も可能性もある。それはまるで翼を持ち自在に空を舞う鳥のよう。でも僕にはそんなものはないんです。僕がたとえ鳥に見えたとしてもアヒルに過ぎない。アヒルに翼はあっても飛ぶことはできない。なのに空の夢を語るなんて、そんなのは残酷すぎる。
家具だのアヒルだの、なんだってんだよ一体。いや、
Jessica unconsciously gone along with Ken's forceful manner of speaking, but she realized that she shouldn't fire back and swallowed her words.
私は君のことを何も知らない。生い立ちも知らないし、その苦労も知らない。だから君がどうして自分を家具だなんて言い出すようになったのか想像もつかない。でも知って、 君は家具でもアヒルでもない。ちゃんとした人間だぜ。使用人としてのカノン君が家具だと言うならそれでもいいよ。でもならカノン君は家具でない時の人間の時の自分を作ってもいいとは思わない？
そんな可能性を抱けるのは僕はそうじゃない。僕には未来も可能性も見るべき夢もない。だからお嬢様、それ以上残酷なことを言わないでください。
なんでだよ。なんでそんなことを言うんだよ。
お嬢様が僕のことをご自分と同じ人間だと勘違いなされているようだからです。僕とお嬢様は違う存在。それをはっきり申し上げておきたかったのです。シャノンに聞きました。お嬢様は僕のことをお気に入りになられているとか。
いや
僕は人間に限りなく近い姿をしています。だからシャノンのように自分を人間だと錯覚して一時恋愛の真似事をすることもできるかもしれない。でもそれは自分を騙しているに違いない。いえ、お嬢様を騙すことにもなるのです。シャノンとジョージ様も必ず破綻する。その日が訪れることをシャノンだって理解しているだろうに。バカなことを。
バカなってことはないだろ。そりゃジョージ兄さんは立派な人だし両親の期待も背負ってる。確かに結婚とかになればエヴァおばさんがいろいろと口出しをしてくるだろうし、まあその前途は多難だと思うぜ。でもな、ジョージ兄さんはそんなのに屈する人じゃねえ。シャノンをジュリエットになんかしねえぜ。きっと幸せにしてくれる。
人は家具と恋などできない。お嬢様が家具を愛することができても僕にお嬢様を愛することができないと、そう申し上げたいのです。
Those words of Kanon's crushed all of Jessica's bittersweet feelings from that day. There was no way her emotions could have predicted that she'd be refused so bluntly. In an instant, she lost the willpower that had led her to try and unravel something stubborn in Kanon's heart. And before she knew it, she was just standing there in shock.
お嬢様が僕を好かれているという気持ちが僕の思い上がりによるものならどうかお許しください。
いや、まあそこは否定しねえぜ。
ありがとうございます。僕を人間だと思ってくれてありがとうございます。そのお気持ちだけで僕は本当に嬉しいです。そしてそれ以上は僕には残酷すぎるから。
いや、もう十分だぜ。悪かったな。
Jessica recklessly scratched at her head and spoke, trying to force her voice to sound bright.
私一人がいろいろ先走っちゃって迷惑かけたよ。正直ごめん。 貴重な休みを丸一日振り回しちゃって、本当にごめん。
いえ、僕も楽しそうなお嬢様が見られて嬉しかったです。
じゃあ今夜はこれで終わりにしようぜ。私も部屋に戻って仕事をしないとまた母さんに怒られちまうよ。
Oh. Oh, fuck. My heart is actually ripping to shreds, fuck. Ugh, shit.
そうされた方がよろしいでしょう。おやすみなさいませ、お嬢様。
おやすみ。
Ken saw Jessica trot away with her back to him, looking disheartened. But then she suddenly broke into a reckless dash and disappeared in the direction of the mansion. As he watched her back for just an instant, Kanon was tormented by the feeling that he just made a huge mistake. But he hadn't made a mistake at all. He'd been forced to refuse her now for her sake, while the pain was still at its smallest.
女を泣かせるとはなかなかやるではないか。
God damn it, Beatrice.
お前がそこまで拒絶するとは意外であった。普通に受け答えしていれば、わらわの魔法で二組目の恋人たちが生まれていたものを。
いつからそこに。最低なやつだな。
When he turned around, the witch was suddenly there. It looked like she'd been there the whole time, watching the two of them as though enjoying a play.
わらわへの暴言は愉快なる見せ物に免じて特別に許す。男と女のこじれ合いに勝る見せ物は千年を経ても存在せぬな。わらわにとっては何よりも甘美な止められぬ快楽よ。
Yeah, opium is pretty addictive. Kanon pulled the butterfly brooch out of his pocket. It was a manifestation of the great magic the witch had bestowed. Without hesitation, Kanon slammed it against the ground and stomped on it.
ほう。わらわの与えたものと知りつつ、それは何を意味するのか。
今理解した。お前がしているのは恋のキューピッドなんて洒落たものじゃない。お前は結ばれぬ者たちに恋を見せてたぶらかして楽しんでいるだけの悪魔だ。
そう思うも自由よ。わらわが力を貸した人間の多くはお前と同じようなことを口にする。
ほうけるな。お前はシャノンを憐れんで力を貸したんじゃない。恋に胸を焦がすシャノンの心の隙をついて自分を封じていた鏡を割らせた。しかもそれだけじゃない。その末路まで想像がついていてもてあそんでいる。違うか。
家具とはつくづく哀れな存在よ。夢も未来も恋すらもないか。よいよい、身の程はわきまえるに限るぞ。ジェシカの心にはお前が察する通り淡い恋心があった。そなたはそれにハサミを入れ刈り取ったつもりでいる。だが 知っておるか？木は勝手に茂らせたものより枝を間引き剪定したものの方が太い枝をつけるというぞ。家具に恋する娘か。面白いぞ、実に面白い。シャーノンとジョージもやがては結ばれ得ぬ恋に行き詰まり、わらわ好みの大きな果実を実らせるだろう。しかしいかんせんあの二人はうまくいきすぎていて面白くなくてな。そこへ行くとお前たちは大いにわらわを楽しませてくれそうだぞ。
God, you bitch. The witch laughed. Even though she had known the two could never be together, she had lent magic to bring them together. However, they couldn't escape the fate that prevented them from ever being truly joined. The witch knew that. Even if they were joined, Shannon, George, Ken, and Jessica would eventually break up. They would wander through an endless desert in this hell of love, tormented by eternal thirst.
わらわがその力を対価なく貸すことがあるとでも？恋に手は貸そう。その対価はやがて必ず訪れる二人への過酷な運命の鑑賞料としていただくわけよ。
Oh, you cool bitch.
これに勝る見せ物は1000年経っても存在せぬ。金像を見るがいい。恋の味を知り楽園を追放された哀れな老いぼれの末路を、死んでも死にきれぬさながら亡者のような生き様を見るがいい。
やはりお前は魔女だ。消えて失せろ、この悪魔め。
頼まれずとも消えよう。まだまだわらわには力が戻らぬでな。姿を現し続けるのはまだまだ疲れることよ。そなたら恋人たちに力を授けるのに無理をしすぎたのでな。触媒のブローチなしで力を維持し続けるのは今のわらわには容易ではない。
Kanon ground his foot even more into the stomped roach. He felt it break under his foot. Then it evaporated like water, and changed into butterflies that sparkled gold, fluttering out from beneath Kanon's foot.
わらわもこの姿を保ち続けるのがちと苦しい。しばしそなたの願い通り姿を消そう。満ちぬ潮も月もないように我が魔力も必ず満ちる。そして必ずや訪れよう。わらわがよみがえるにふさわしい時で。それが明日のことか来年のことか、さもなくば100年1000年未来のことかは想像もつかぬ。だがわらわを楽しませてくれる者たちがおる限り、わらわは必ずや力を得てよみがえるであろう。
Interesting, she doesn't know when it happens.
その時までしばし姿を消す。そなたの手のひらにもはやあざはなく、そなたが望むならば明日の朝にはわらわの存在など夢か幻のように消し去ることもできよう。忘れ去られることほどわらわに悲しいことはない。だがわらわは必ずよみがえる。そしてその日がいつ訪れても後悔することのないよう自らを戒めよ。わらわは必ずや再臨し、この島の真の主として全てを支配する。その時こそ再び黄金鏡の扉が開かれる。欲深な亡者たちが必ずやわらわを呼び覚ます。
くどい、早く消え去れ。
The witch became a crowd of gold butterflies and scattered away, leaving behind the squirrel for Waff. The whole area sparkled like a gold blizzard in a snow globe. It was a fleeting, fantastical scene that disappeared in a heartbeat. Huh. The witch could no longer be seen. However, Ken felt like he could still hear that shrill, unpleasant laugh.
ああ、愉快愉快。なぜに久しぶりの人の世はこうも愉快なのか。恋に惑え、黄金に惑え。そのどちらにも惑わぬものなど人間にあらず。なるほど。故に家具とは言えたり。家具は人間に奉仕するために生み出される。そしてわらわは退屈なる千年の慰み者として人間を虐げる。そのわらわが家具を支配できぬとは、なんとも愉快な三すくみ。金蔵め、実に面白いことをしてくれる。家具め、わらわを撃てるか試みてみるがいい。今宵まきたる恋の種は2つ。すでにまきたる種と含めてこれで3つ。
ベアトリーチェ、なぜ私を一人この苦界に置き去りにしたのか。私は憎い。これほどまでに恋焦がれているのに答えようとせぬお前を永遠に憎む。
親方様、それ以上のお酒はお体に障ります。南條先生からもご注意を受けておられるのでは。
黙れ源氏。お前には分からぬ我が嘆きも苦しみも分からぬ。お前だけは我が苦しみを理解してくれていると、お前だけは我が最古の友人であると信じているのに、なぜに理解できないというのか。おお、ベアトリーチェ、なぜ私だけを置き去りに。
なんだよ、家具って。わけわかんねえよ。
おおいたわしやジェシカ様。寝室から聞こえてくるすすり泣く声に私は事情を知りつつもどうしようもないのでございます。すべては若すぎた二人と近すぎた距離、そして生まれた家柄が遠すぎたゆえの悲劇。私はただただお嬢様のお気持ちを汲み取り、足音を殺して静かに立ち去るのみなのでございます。
A madness fills the mansion of unquated love.
それって。
Alright, I think this is a good stopping point for right now. Okay. So we learned a bit more about Beatrice, a bit. And the reason why she's doing this is just to be entertained, but also to be revived, to open the door to the Golden Land, whatever the hell that is, could be. Creating these situations of love in order to see the people in them go insane, go mad with it. Isn't that the greatest madness for any person? Person you want to love so much, but you can't, no matter how hard you try. Drive any person insane, be it Kenzo or Jessica, and eventually Shannon and George, unfortunately, for that is their fate. And Beatrice merely laughs behind the scenes, watching all this. She sets up the dominoes and she knocks them down in order to be entertained by it. What a bitch. What a bitch, huh? Interesting how she referred to Kenzo as an old fool who was just but a moment in paradise but was cast out. Now merely a corpse yearning for Beatrice over and over again. That unrequited love. And how he truly goes mad from it. Anyway, if you guys enjoy this type of content, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Want to tell me something, put it down in the comments below. Check out Discord server I'm in, or my Twitter. Check description below. And yeah, this has been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!